something to you. They wanna hurt you. They have something, whether it's a weapon, a bat, So I'm expecting he has something.
MMA fighters are trained warriors, conditioned for battle inside the cage. But what happens when these elite fighters face off against regular people outside the ring? These stories range from bar brawls to home invasions, proving that even outside the cage, a fighter's instincts never sleep. These incidents have shocked the world, with videos going viral and fans questioning what happens when the discipline of the cage meets the chaos of real life. Penn, a former UFC champion, has built a reputation for being one of the toughest fighters in MMA history. However, even legends can get caught in unexpected situations. One night in Hawaii, Penn found himself in a street fight that went viral. The footage showed him trading punches with a local outside a bar, proving that even world-class fighters are not immune to street altercations. Unlike a controlled MMA fight, a street brawl is unpredictable, and despite Penn's experience, he took some heavy shots.
This and that. And then I walk outside to go give the guy a hug, and then he hits me twice, and I'm like, oh no, calm down. Try to give him another hug, and he hits me a couple more times, and then he hits me again, and then finally my adrenaline picked up because he was hitting me so much. I'm like, oh, go ahead, hit me again. But really, I thought the guy would eventually just be like, you know what, forget it, PJ, whatever.
While some saw this as a rare moment of vulnerability, others recognized that street fights can go either way. The key takeaway? No matter how skilled you are, anything can happen when fists start flying in an uncontrolled environment. Nate Diaz is no stranger to confrontation, both inside and outside the octagon. Known for his no-nonsense attitude, Diaz has been involved in multiple street fights, one of the most famous being an incident at a mall. A man continuously provoked him, unaware that he was dealing with one of the toughest fighters in the UFC. Eventually, Diaz had enough and delivered his signature Stockton slap. The sheer audacity of someone provoking a trained fighter like Diaz is mind-boggling, but it serves as a reminder that some people underestimate professional fighters. Unlike in movies where size and attitude win fights, real-life altercations are a different game, especially when you're up against a highly skilled martial artist who can neutralize threats in seconds. Another unforgettable incident involved Serra, a former UFC champion and one of the best grapplers in MMA. Serra was at a restaurant when he noticed a visibly intoxicated man harassing the staff and causing chaos. Despite multiple warnings, the man refused to calm down, forcing Serra to step in. Unlike most street fights that turn violent quickly, Serra handled the situation like a professional. Instead of striking, he used his superior grappling skills to control the man without hurting him. The footage of Serra calmly pinning the man down, smiling while holding him in place, went viral.
I mean, you could end a situation just as easy with like when that idiot when I was in Vegas, easy right hand at I was looking at him like the RoboCop where I saw the chin right there. But then he's taking his shirt off. I'm just like,
This incident highlighted the power of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how a trained fighter can neutralize an aggressive individual without excessive force. Serra's restraint and control turned a potentially dangerous situation into a masterclass in de-escalation. Anthony Smith's story is perhaps the most terrifying of them all. Unlike the other incidents that took place in public, Smith's encounter happened inside his own home. One night, he woke up to find an intruder in his house. Unlike the typical street brawler, this was a life-or-death situation. Smith, a UFC light heavyweight fighter, engaged in a brutal struggle to subdue the man. Despite his elite training, he admitted that this was one of the toughest fights of his life.
Said no normal human being is able to fight like that. He said, I am by no means the baddest dude on the planet. Listen, he's top 100.
oh, dude.
Out of all the humans on the planet, Anthony Smith is one of the top 100 baddest walking the earth. But he's a regular Joe, and I had a hard time dealing with him, and he took everything I gave him, every punch, every knee, every elbow. He took every single one of them and kept fighting me. At one point, Smith said his mother-in-law brought him a kitchen.
The adrenaline, unpredictability, and the sheer insanity of fighting an unhinged intruder in the middle of the night made the situation extremely challenging. This incident showed that real-life fights are vastly different from competitive bouts, where both fighters are prepared and in control. It was a chilling reminder that in a real fight, anything can happen, and even the most well-trained fighters can be caught off guard. And then, there's Nate Diaz, again. This time, the incident involved a Logan Paul lookalike. During a heated moment at a Misfits boxing event, Diaz, in classic fashion, locked a man in a standing guillotine choke and put him to sleep on the street. The viral footage shocked the internet, sparking debates on whether Diaz was justified. The man claimed he wasn't even trying to fight Diaz, but the UFC veteran's instincts took over. The internet had a field day with the situation, with memes and reactions flooding social media. Whether you see it as self-defense or an overreaction, one thing is clear: don't mess with Nate Diaz unless you're ready to go to sleep. MMA fighters train for controlled environments, but real-life situations bring a new level of chaos. Unlike the controlled atmosphere of the cage, the unpredictability of street fights brings unique challenges. The terrain, the involvement of multiple people, and the absence of rules make things far more dangerous than a scheduled fight night. Many fighters have spoken about how dangerous real-life altercations can be, even for professionals. Street fights often involve weapons, cheap shots, and unexpected elements that can turn even the most skilled fighter into a victim. Another key factor is adrenaline. In a sanctioned fight, fighters train their minds to stay calm under pressure. But when an unexpected fight breaks out in real life, adrenaline can take over, making it much harder to think rationally. Even a highly skilled fighter can struggle in an uncontrolled, emotional environment, making these situations far more dangerous than any MMA match. Then, there's the legal aspect. While a sanctioned fight is regulated and monitored, street fights come with real-world consequences. Many fighters involved in these incidents have faced legal repercussions, including fines, lawsuits, and even jail time. Even in cases of self-defense, professional fighters are often scrutinized more harshly due to their advanced skill set. Some judges and juries view trained fighters as lethal weapons, which can turn a simple altercation into a legal nightmare. Despite these risks, these stories have one thing in common. They all highlight the sheer dominance of trained fighters over untrained individuals. Whether it was Serra calmly restraining an aggressive drunk, Smith defending his home from an intruder, or Diaz knocking out a man on the street, these incidents prove that professional fighters are on a completely different level. The speed, technique, and composure displayed by these athletes in real-world situations are unmatched, and for most people, picking a fight with them is simply a bad idea.
If you want to roll with the Murmura family and help me reach 1,000 subs, no uppercuts needed, just hit that subscribe button and let's get it.
Right uppercut! This fight is over!